There are always people in the community that make a big difference. Don and Linda Deardorff are two of those people.
My name is Don Deardorff, and this is my wife, Linda, and Marla, and Amo. This gal, watch her because she's picking out all of this good stuff here.
And lima beans.
The lima beans, yeah.
I don't like lima beans.
And her husband, I think, enjoys lima beans, but...
No, he doesn't.
I would leave them in there.
You can meet him one time and he just pulls you and draws you into his ventures to go out and feed homeless people, to take care of his community.
We knew that this was something we wanted to do, so we started looking for source of donations so that we could begin feeding people community meals from the church that at that time that we all went to, and which was the same one. And we couldn't get anybody to donate any food, and so it just kind of never moved forward. So we decided, well, that's okay. We don't really need donations. We'll fund it ourselves. We just started doing that, and the doors. God was really, really good to us. He threw open the doors, and donations started coming in that allowed us to get started. And then Don just goes out into the community and finds people to donate and things that we need. And so he put on the internet that we needed a freezer. So somebody donated this. We went and picked it up and brought it back over here. And thankfully it's full as well with things that have been donated. So we cook what we have to cook with. Sometimes our meals are a bit creative.
We're preparing food. It's shepherd's pie for 100 people. We had, I believe it's 93 people last Monday.
99.
99, okay, 99, almost 100. So we're shooting for 100 today. And shepherd's pie just happens to be on the menu. So we got together as a group and we're just gonna put it together and ask the blessings of the Lord upon it and bring the people in.
What's so cool about Dad is he gives opportunities to people to go out and to bless other people.
We take our kids, send them out to mission fields, right? And right here around home, there's so many needs. So it's fine to take them or send them, but when they come back, get them involved. And that's what I want to see. I want to see our youth really getting involved and getting excited about the things of the Lord.
Dawn is still struggling with prostate cancer, but we're still going out and feeding on Monday nights.
His sphere of influence is huge. But he has to feel good to go out and be able to talk to those people. You can't keep a good man down. You can't keep a big heart shut up for long.
We've seen the hand of the Lord really move through the years that we've done this. People giving their life to the Christ, and that's what it's all about. So we're just enjoying ourselves. As you see, we have all kinds of cooks going on here. Amo's very good. He can stir very well. My wife is very good at making onions, cutting those up, mincing those up.
We've learned so much from them. They've done this before. We had never done it before, so it was a huge learning curve for Amo and I to cook for 100 people.
My husband, we was traveling, my husband stopped at a rest stop, and while he was in there, he found a pamphlet on the end times. So he came back and he called his sister up in Yakima, and he began to talk to her about the pamphlet and all this. And so they had begun to tell him about what they had been watching on 3ABN channel. And so they started discussing it, and it had, after that, it was about 3.5 years that they really was getting interested in the channel.
You know, the Bible talks about the steps of the righteous are ordered by the Lord. And it's interesting watching Dad because he's just taking a step of faith because he believes wholehearted in what he's doing. He takes a step of faith, and it's amazing to watch how the doors just open before him.
He said, I'm going to just call a Seventh-day up and talk to the pastor and see what kind of people they are, you know, because it was totally new for us.
I pastor the Caldwell Seventh-day Adventist Church, and it's amazing that we actually made connection because they live in a city near us in Nampa. When they called the Nampa church, at least that's what they thought they were doing. He called to ask some questions, but the number he got was our number here. So he showed up over there.
They finally got connected and had the meeting, and it was just like they hit it right off.
I have a Pentecostal background myself, and so a lot of the things that took place in answering his questions had to do with some of the things that I had studied and choices that I'd made.
And Don asked him, he says, what made you change from Pentecost to a Seventh Day? And Pastor Jim says, well, he said, I was looking for the truth.
I watched as they grew, and it was amazing to see how each thing that came to him, he took and rehearsed what it meant to him and go away saying, I can't believe the way I believed before.
Seventh Day had been something that we had talked about for a long time, Saturday.
Yes.
And again, having been taught and having taught that, every day is the same to the Lord, and not to esteem one above the next, and all that kind of stuff. But yet something deep down is saying, that's not quite right.
A lot of things that we were taught as Pentecost was not exactly what it was in the Bible, And we've been raised in church.
They're getting answers they've never had out of the Word. In the past, we've always just taken the preacher's word for it. Search it out for yourself, but this is what it means.
I really don't care what you have to say, but I care about the Word, and I appreciate you being able to open the Word and saying, it's not me, here it is.
I know that the church community has just embraced you folks. You're precious to them, and our style of worship has been different than what you've been used to. And we talked about that a little bit because I've come from that background as well. But share with me how that's worked for you to be able to take truth and then still come and embrace a community that worships a little bit differently than you're used to.
Been tough. That part has been tough. Realizing that, I'll just say that I'm Pentecostal charismatic, wildfires. It's been really tough to come to a place where this is a problem, and just not used to it. It's awkward for them, and it's been a little bit hard. But the love of Christ and the people, they have peace, they have joy,
Yes.
We showed it differently.
Yes.
So I think there's a balance. I've got to tell you, you and I have already talked about this. I really think in our church now, I belong here.
Yes.
But I think in our church, I'm waiting the day when we take some of the scripture that we kind of skim over when it comes to praise and worship, like the Psalms, because it's pretty explicit what we're supposed to do, worshiping and praising the Lord. And I'd like to see freedom, and I'm just waiting because there's this act of worship also in praise, lifting the hands.
Maybe it'll catch. What you're doing will catch on, and those who are a little more open to and uncomfortable with that, maybe it'll catch on for them. Share a little bit with me. How did your family relate to picking up these new truths?
They're pretty much sold on the seventh day Saturday, and so even in the work situations, he's asked to not have to work on Saturday.
That's
so,
great.
Yeah, God's doing some beautiful things.
I'm starting to watch their whole. Everything's changing. Now it's becoming a little bit more intriguing, interesting, alluring, if that's a good word, and not as nervous or as standoffish, okay? And I understand the excitement when people just found the truth. And what's interesting is I believe they just found the truth for the first time in God. Linda made a comment. Her comment was, we just get into what God is doing. We get into what we feel God is wanting us to do, and then the cancer thing comes up. And it's like, man, God, things are just starting to go, and now we've got to battle this. Well, I believe that through the cancer, God's going to use Dad to touch a lot more lives than what he ever would have touched, even doing what he's doing, if he didn't have the cancer. And watching the stick-to-itiveness, as much as it bugs me, because I'm concerned about him and I'm concerned about his health, as much as it bothers me, when you're doing what you feel God has called you to do, man, never stop that. From a 50-year-old son, I think it's amazing. Love you, Dad.